Hi, my name is Nina. I am a student in the Living Writers English 579 class this semester. This semester has been really a journey for me, and of all the authors that we have analyzed and met with this past semester, whose interviews you can view on this YouTube channel, the one who has had the largest impact on my life personally is Michael Torres. And when I read his collection of poetry, An Incomplete List of Names, if you have not read it, you need to, it made me think about the men in my family. I am third generation, and I struggle myself with being whitewashed. And Torres does a beautiful job of discussing what it means to be Mexican American, what it means to be a Mexican American man, and what the implications of that are, and what it is to assimilate and to fight yourself because of the things that assimilation steals from you. And I couldn't help but think of the men in my family because of the different aspects of the expectation of masculinity that are addressed in this collection as well. I did eventually lend this book to my father, Augustine, but before I did that, I read him one specific poem, and it started a discussion between us that led to me learning things about my family and my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, that I never knew and that were massively impactful to me, and honestly inspired me a lot. And if you gain anything from this video or my analysis or my experience, I would hope that it's these works of art, this poetry, extends so far beyond the page, so far, to do something like expand my relationship with my family and my father, expand my understanding and open us up in lines of discussion that we would have never had if we hadn't had a voice as honest and raw and impactful as what Torres has. So in this video, I would like to read you that first poem that I read to my father, which is White America. I would like to talk about the kind of discussion it led to between him and myself. And then I would like to read you a piece that I wrote, which was inspired by Torres. So hopefully you stick around. So this is White America. No one calls me Miguel, except those who don't know me or those who do. America, what do you want me to say? There are too many of your voices in my ear. I don't know what you look like anymore. America, what size are you now? And where did all the fire trucks go with those Dalmatians and their ears flapping like flags in the wind? Everyone's inside the house and I'm here on the dead lawn, waiting for an explanation. Was it just a parade? A movie? America, I keep wandering into the Hispanic section of your grocery stores. It's a trap for us all. I see your dream is bilingual now. I too want a chance to refinance. America, I'm not really free, am I? I wrote that last line to start a fire. What I mean is, I don't believe men with ladders are coming to save me. What I mean is, I'm fooled by sirens bouncing louder up the block. Nothing but police setting up checkpoints. I'm stuck watching cops trap neighbors without papers, placing them in the firm backhand of patrol cars to be taken across. I count my lucky stars, and they break into shards in my grip. America, I don't think you have the right answers, but you speak loud. America, what do you see when you see me? America, this is what I understand. One summer, mowing lawns with men who never collect Social Security income, and that afternoon, a white homeowner came out to tell us to trim the hedges lower, flattening her English words like dough with a rolling pin, her voice loud. I reiterated, and she asked me if I speak English. America. I've fastened my father's machine to the truck. The blades have been wiped clean. I'm washing the calluses on my hands with lemon soap and salt, so they'll be smooth, so no one will hear me coming. I read that to my father because when I decided to go the college route, there was a lot of resentment that my family held for me. And specifically the line in this poem, "I count my lucky stars and they break into shards in my grip," reminded me of the guilt that comes along with succeeding in America as a Mexican American child to parents who did not have the same opportunity as you did, as Torres did, as I do. And I thought about how different it is for someone like me and someone like Torres to feel like lucky stars are double-edged swords. So I read it to my father because I wanted to see kind of where that would get us and if he could see any of those same sentiments that I hold reflected in this poem. And he told me that for him, he was surprised that that this man would write something like that. And he said, "Mija, we don't complain. We don't complain. We're not like everybody else." And I said, "Well, do you remember telling me as a kid that closed mouths don't get fed? And what does it mean not to complain? What do you mean don't complain?" And what he meant was that he is so used to taking the hard end of things and just not ever wishing for more or hoping for more and just being grateful and almost taking pride in breaking his back for everything that he has. And it really tied into the discussion of masculinity that we see in the rest of this collection, that inability to be vulnerable and the inability to acknowledge the hurt inside. And I asked my dad as well, after he had read more of this collection, why did he stop speaking Spanish? And why is it that my brothers and I don't speak Spanish? And he ended up telling me a story about my great-grandfather who earned his citizenship by serving his country. This country, not his country. And he told me that my great-grandfather was ashamed about his broken English. He was ashamed to speak Spanish because it made him un-American. And he recounted this time that my great-grandfather was upset with the quality of water that was provided in a town that my dad grew up in. And nobody at City Hall would listen to him because he spoke broken English and he was not respected. He did not feel respected. So he took his grandsons and he wheeled himself back, each of his grandsons carrying buckets of dirty, murky water. And he told them to drink. And that was how he made his point. He had to make his point through physical action. And he ended up telling my dad before he had passed away, master the English language. Master the English language. And to my dad, that turned into learn nothing but English, practice nothing but English, pass on nothing but English, because English is the key to respect, and English is the key to being American. And those ideas became very distorted in my dad's head and in my family, and it led to a hyper-focus on assimilation and moving away from kind of our past and our roots. And so my dad said, you know, he felt the same way about Lucky Stars. Every opportunity is a double-edged sword when you're being afforded opportunities that your people are not receiving, and when equity is absent. So I just couldn't help but think, like, it took one man who resembles my father, who can say that he has a similar background to my father, being vulnerable and acknowledging those feelings, to bring my dad to introspection, which is something in my life that I have not seen. and it brought him to reflect and be honest with himself and acknowledge the ways that the expectations placed upon him hurt him and shaped his life, because he could not be your average American white man because he was a Mexican man in America. And I honestly wish I could thank Torres directly for giving us that opportunity, and for, at the age of 50, for allowing my dad to expand his mindset. And it really goes to show, like, there is always the opportunity to learn and grow and to be receptive and open up, and something so moving as poetry is one of the best ways to achieve that kind of growth. So I really just am deeply inspired and moved by this collection. And now, to close, I would like to read you something that I wrote, thinking about Torres' collection and white America in particular. This is called Shine. 3 rays beat down on the fields in the valley, worked over by the brazen people who get worked over for a penny an hour because to them it's a dime. And after the people of the land of the free beat them down, they believe it was worth the penny, because a penny is just a copper-toned dime. Grateful. Still, they, under the cover of copper-toned skin, are disposable. Caught up in the vacuum were the tornado of shouts about the American dream, the spinning cycles of harvest seasons. Caught up, but what's a lost dustpan penny? Who, over the whir of pledges and oaths, can't hear the rushing whisper in their veins, ancestral blessings from the sun, laws about roots and blood, warnings from the ruthlessly sown earth, beseeched, given no rest, mutilated by barbed fence, free land that was once noble home to brazen people who are not burned by the gaze of God, who nature did not spite, who are filled with the light of 3 eternal rays. I wrote this thinking about the sort of work that my grandparents and great-grandparents had to do, and the mindset that they had about that work and those opportunities, and the separation from their roots that continues today in my generation. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope that you do get a chance to check out An Incomplete List of Names by Michael Torres. Thank you so much for watching.